Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 29th of April 2019, so welcome everyone. Welcome to this Monday's morning session where we're going to have a look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimers. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to re-rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, I hope you're all feeling nice and relaxed after the weekend. So yep, let's get back into the markets. The markets are slightly on the quiet side today, so not a lot of activity apart from, let me just quickly double check the calendar. Yes, I mean, apart from some news coming out from the United States, so we do have the PCE deflator number coming out later on. So yep, keep your eyes on that one. But in general, the markets could be more on the quiet side today. But of course, let's see how that plays out. But the first chart I wanted to quickly touch on, and that's AUDUSD. So basically, I'm gonna talk about some of these pairs that I've covered on Wednesday last week. So yep, so you can see that AUDUSD managed to travel back up here. Now this is where I was talking about here. I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on this little downside resistance line, taken from the highs of the 17th of April. So this is a very tentative short-term downside resistance line. So you can see that the pair is currently bouncing around it. It did slightly push back above the 0.7050 zone here that I had marked here on the chart. So this is an important level that we're keeping a close eye on. But of course, we're also going to be keeping a close eye on this downside resistance line, because if it fails to travel further up here, and let's say fails to travel above the 0.7065, then we could see another leg of selling here. Maybe, I'm not saying that it could travel here all the way down, but again, we're just going to keep it short and simple. We will have a look at here at this like I said, this downside resistance line, see how it's going to perform. For now, like I said, we're probably more let's say neutral on this one, because on one hand, yes, I mean, it is showing some good performance right now. It is trying to push higher. The only thing is, let's see if it actually manages to continue pushing above this downside resistance line. If it does, then yeah, we could see further acceleration here to the upside, especially if we see a pop above the 0.7065. We will target the 0.7085 and then the 0.710305 level, something like that, approximately there, which is marked by the intraday swing high here of the 23rd of April. So, but of course, slightly above that, we do have this upside support line here, taken from the lows of the of March. This is the lows of the lowest point of March, basically. So we do have this upside support line. So we will keep an eye on that one as well, because it could also kind of break the acceleration here. It could stall the rate from pushing further up here. But again, like I said, this is only in the scenario if we see a push above the 0.7065 level. Just to kind of let you know, guys, as well, if you do wish to leave a comment after the video is uploaded, then yep, please do, because it will be easier to reply this way, and I can cover your let's say questions in the next video as well. So just because we do have a bit of a limited time here on this one, so on our videos here, and trying to kind of squeeze as much as possible in all this. So but yeah, we're looking, I mean, we're always happy to hear from you guys. If you want to leave a comment after the video is uploaded, so yep, we'll be happy to respond. in terms of the downside here for the AUDUSD, I mean, we need to see this downside resistance line getting respected. Even though we are seeing a bit of a push here above this, then still it might travel back down. If it travels back below the 0.7050, this could raise concerns about the short-term upside potential, and we could maybe see this this pair revisiting the 0.7025 level, or even slightly lower, the psychological 0.70 level. So for now, be very cautious on this one. That's what I'm saying. That's why we're going to be a little bit on a neutral side on this one, but we'll keep a close eye on some of these levels. So on the upside is the 0.7065, and on the downside is the 0.7050. USDCAD, very quickly, I was talking about this one on Wednesday, and basically what I was hoping to see, it was a retracement a little bit back down here, maybe a test of this 1.3403 level, 1.34 area, and then a rebound and push back higher. So of course on Wednesday, we saw the Canadian dollar kind of depreciating against the US dollar further, and we saw this push higher, which managed to reach the let me just put this level quickly on the chart, guys. So it managed to reach this little area here. This is going to be our other target now, the area around the 1.3518-20 zone, approximately there. So you can see that it managed to travel all the way here, maybe just slightly overshot it, hit the 20 zone, 35.20. In a way, you could actually, if you want to round it up here just for better confirmation, because that's going to be the level for us to watch if we want to consider further acceleration here to the upside in the near term. Basically, we would need to see a push above the 135.20 in order to kind of consider higher levels. But for now, looking at this current picture, of course the 1.3450 level continues to play out and continues to act as a strong area of support. You can see that this is where all these 4-hour candles now are kind of struggling to close below that level, and let's see how it performs further. I mean, I'm not saying that this is now turning bullish or could be a bullish sign here for us. Let's say in terms of the upside, we will take a more conservative approach. Initially, we will keep an eye on this 134.65. A nice good push above that could potentially lead towards the 134.96 area, approximately there, marked by the high, near the highs of the 26th of April. But of course, if that fails to withhold, then we could see further move higher here towards the last week's highs near the 135.20. And of course, if that fails to withhold, then yep, this is a much better confirmation of the upside, because this would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and we could target the 135.65 level. So for now, guys, in terms of the upside, of course, if we see a push above the 134.65, this could be a initial good sign, but probably better, let's wait for a push above the 134.96 area, approximately there, and only then kind of aim for slightly higher levels, because from the very short-term perspective, if you like to look at 1 hour charts, you will probably see something like this happening here. So that's why even if we see a push above the 134.65, this wouldn't really kind of course it would be more towards the positive side, but still kind of below this little tentative downside resistance line. So but we're not going to focus on that one too much. We're going to keep an eye on this level right here around the 134.96. In terms of the downside here, of course, if the 134.50 level continues, well, not continues, but fails to withhold, and we see a 4-hour candle closing below that, then well, this could increase the chances for further slide lower towards the 134.03, 134 area, and of course, if that fails to withhold, then yep, further depreciation could be possible. So for now, guys, it's very tricky here. 134.50, on one hand, it continues to act as a very good strong support zone here, but if we see a 4-hour candle closing below this could raise some concerns in the bull block, and we could see further declines towards the 134 zone. So keep your eyes on this one for now. It's a very interesting pair, but again, if it continues, let's say if it fails to drive below the 134.50, start looking at the 65 area here. But for better confirmation, probably keep your eyes on the 134.95. Jumping into GBPUSD, this one's having a nice rebound here. So looking at this 4-hour chart, it managed to reach this key area of support. Let me just adjust some of these levels here, guys. So it managed to reach this little area last week here. So this was near the 1.2865 zone, so approximately around there, guys. So very good potential area now of support. This is where we're going to be keeping a close eye on, because in a way, if we do see a break below that, this would confirm a forthcoming lower low. We could then target slightly lower areas like the 128.30, or even further down the line here we do have the 127.85 zone. So, and just to show you what those levels were in the past, you can see that this is where it got held here nicely on around the 14th of February, 15th of February. So this level here around the 1.2785 could be that nice potential target, but only we'll consider this possibility only if we see a drop below the 1.2865. For now, it's trying to push higher. I'm not saying that we're now confident of the upside. We still would like to see some key levels of resistance getting broken. So for example, initially we will aim for this 129.60 zone, but for better confirmation we would like to see a push and a break and a close of the 4-hour candle above the 1.2975 zone. So this way at least we could potentially try to consider higher areas like of course the psychological 130 level, and just slightly above that we do have the 200 EMA on the 4-hour chart here, and the 130.50 level, which could also be a nice potential target. For now, again, also very tricky. It is trying to push higher, but again we need to see one of our key resistance levels getting broken first before we could aim for much higher levels. For now, this is going to stuck here in limbo, and we're just going to continue observing it, and for, like I said, for the downside, that's what we're looking for here. We need to see that drop below the 1.2865 level before we could consider much lower areas. So keep your eyes on this one. Very interesting pair. And jumping into GBPNZD, this one is a bit of a interesting one as well, because as you can see, since from around the end of February, it was trading here within this nice wide range here approximately between the 1.8950 and the 1.9545 zone, approximately there. But then on 24th, on Wednesday, the pair managed to break it to the upside, but then you can see that the next day on Thursday it sold off heavily here and kind of continued selling off on Friday, and broke its this tentative upside support line. Now it's a bit of a tentative one, guys, so don't focus on this one too much, but the most important for us is going to be probably this little upside support line, taken from the low of around the 15th of February. So a very good potential area, or should I say area, but potential line here to watch. It also, a possible break of this line also kind of coincides here with this level, this key area of support that we're still keeping a close eye on, and that's approximately around the 1.9315 zone. So keep your eyes on this one. If we do see a drop below this, then we could potentially see further declines, especially even if the pair starts sliding below the 1.9270 zone. So this one around here, which is marked near the lows of the 16th of April. So in other words, if we put a few arrows here, this is where we're going to be looking at here, guys. So basically, a drop below the 1.9315 could be that initial kind of sign to worry for the bulls to start worrying here. But if this starts dropping below the 1.9270, now this is where it could turn out to be ugly for the bulls. So we could see further decline. Now a very good potential target here is around the 1.9050 level, which you can see that how well it acted as a good area of support here back on the 29th of March and also around the 25th of March. That's a bit of a drop here, of course. Don't get me wrong. We may see A bit of maybe some correction at some point here, but for now, kind of this is our near-term goal here, the 1.9050, only if it's going to break below the 1.9270 level. So we will only consider this area if we see a drop below here, below this support zone. In terms of if it continues to trade above this upside support line, so because that's what it is right now, this is how it's looking at, how it's looking right now. So I mean, of course, as long as this line remains intact, we will still kind of aim higher towards higher levels. But again, like I said, we're going to be very cautious with that. In terms of the upside, we would probably need to see another push back above the 1.9440 level. That's going to be our initial kind of aim here, but if it continues to travel higher towards the 1.9490, this of course could create more confidence here. The big question here is could be if this, let's say, continues to travel higher here, would it break the upper side of this range, this previous range that it managed to break last week? Could it do the same thing again as last week? So that's why that it could be the big question here. That's why from the, let's say, near-term upside perspective, we would like to see it push above the 1.9545 zone first before kind of aiming for slightly higher levels. From the short-term perspective, yes, we will look at this little area here near the 1.9442, 40, something like that, and then we will at least aim for this upper side, upper bound of the range initially, but then we'll just take a quick look and see what it wants to do with this level here. Does it want to break it? Does it want to just kind of hang around below it? So that's why, guys, from the very short-term perspective, keep your eyes on the 1.9440. If from the downside perspective, we need to see that break below this upside support line, this tentative upside support line, and for better confirmation, we need to see a slide below the 1.9270 level. So keep your eyes on this one. Euro dollar, very quickly here, also trying to push higher like AUDUSD. So in other words, the dollar is kind of retracing a little bit. Of course, yes, we are. It is slightly more on the negative side. The only thing is, some could say that it's maybe a little bit oversold here from the short-term perspective. So in a way, the important levels for us right now, or should I say even the most important level for now for us at this point in time, will be this little area right here. Let me just quickly put that on the chart. There we go. So that's around the 1.1175 zone. So you can see that it was a nice area of support previously, recently, or should I say on the 26th, on Friday. So it acted as a good area of resistance. It traveled higher, hit that, and then retraced back down. So now the pair is trying to push towards it again. Of course, we may see a pop above this. If we see a pop above the 1.1175, we'll still remain somewhat cautious, just because, let me just quickly show you what I'm talking about here. So basically, we do have this little tentative upside support line here, which kind of could cause a bit of commotion here on the euro dollar. So that's why even if we see a pop above the 1.1175, of course this could be the first step towards seeing more upside, but probably for a better confirmation, wait for a push above the 1.1190-95, something like that, and then target higher areas. But again, with higher areas, again, the upside could be slightly limited due to this other line here. But this time it's a downside resistance line taken from the high of the highest point of January. So medium term downside resistance line could play out, could stall the rate initially, and then of course we'll just take it from there, see what it wants to do around it. But basically that's the kind of game plan for now until it's trading here below the 1.1175. We're gonna still aim for maybe lower levels. The only thing is, at this point in time right now, we need to see that confirmation break now below the last week, this key area of support near the 1.1120, before we could consider further declines here to the downside. So in other words, guys, from the very short-term perspective, that's how it's looking. That's how it's shaping up. This is how it's looking right now. We need to see it break below the 1.1120 in order to kind of aim for lower levels. But in terms of the upside, 1.1190, that's the target for us for at least considering some upside moves in the near term, in the short term. So let's put it that way. And the very quickly, Euro Ruble, that's what I wanted to quickly touch on, because on Wednesday I was talking about this one, guys, and I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on this one. If you're not really into these exotic pairs, maybe you can still, or let's say for those who are, let's put it that way, this is quite shaping up quite interestingly right now, because it is now pushing above this downside resistance line. This is the level that we're keeping a close eye on, around the 72.33 zone, something like that. So basically it is showing some good signs here for a potential move higher. Of course, initially we will target just the 73.90 area approximately there, but if that continues to accelerate further, this is where we're going to aim for. We're going to aim for the 75.10 zone. So for now, it's a very interesting pair. We're still keeping a close eye on this one. This is the idea that we've posted on Wednesday, and let's see if this is going to play out. Just thought I'm going to put this one on the chart, and let's see how it's going to perform. Okay, guys, I hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for sticking around and watching it till the end. And if you want to join me later on at my trader's tea time, and that's 13:15 GMT time. But for now, I hope you have a wonderful trading day, guys, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.